The boy Jesus went home with his parents and was obedient to them. And his mother kept all these things in her heart, and he grew in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and man. Yes, when they had seen the boy Jesus in the temple, the mother said, "Son, why have you done this to us? Look, your father and I have been anxious looking for you." The little boy says, "Why were you looking for me? Must I not be about my father's business?" I can come back to that if you would ask me a question thereafter. But we are told, and he went home with them and was obedient unto them. 1. The mother kept all these things in her heart. The mother was not like my father. When I was 9 years old and I got lost at the Holy Spirit Cathedral, stayed for a cinema, instead of coming home by 8 o'clock, 10:30, my father came with my grandmother in the tow, 2 aunties in the tow, with a torchlight to come and look for me. And when they found me, I still remember, it just went psh, psh, psh. At 75, I have not forgotten it. 60, how many years ago? That was how my father handled it. When we got home and I was crying, poor mother said, "Ah, Umbi. Oh, Maba." She wiped away my tears and kept me. Obaye noko. Ebeti bibia. Mothers are great. Oh. Moses, if it was left to fathers alone, Prof. Didn't come out about somebody's father. Dearly beloved, I want you to look at your fingers. Please show me your fingers. How many fingers do you have? I just want you to know, when I talk about spirituality, these 5 fingers point to what is necessary and indispensable in your development. Any form of development, spiritual, traditional, cultural, historic, political, economic, psychological, and everything. 5. They say he was 1, obedient unto his parents. So the first point of call is obedience. 2, it says he grew in wisdom. I'll come back to that. 3, he grew in stature. 4, he grew in favor with God. 5, he grew in favor with man and woman. 5 points. Quickly. 1, he was obedient unto his parents. Dearly beloved, obedience is a virtue which implies discipline. And it is inculcated in a disciple, namely a child, a student, or a follower, when we are children. And normally when it is being inculcated in us, even those of you who are students, elderly students, we don't like obedience. It is not interesting. It is not entertaining. But I beg you, please submit to obedience. Because through obedience, parents, guardians, teachers, formators, at all levels, help us to develop what is called self-discipline. 1. It's an important ingredient, self-discipline, which leads us to self-esteem. You like yourself because you are able to do on your own because you were disciplined. So you develop self-esteem and you have something to give, self-giving. Even to the point of self-sacrifice if needed. So obedience is crucial, it's important. It starts with discipline. We all started it in the primary schools and the rest. When we get to the university, sometimes we throw obedience away. We become disobedient, and the result, we all know. So the first ingredient is obedience. Second ingredient, it says he increased in wisdom. He grew in wisdom. My dear friends, wisdom is larger than knowledge. You learn wisdom from wise people. I was very sorry I couldn't be there with Prof to listen to. I hear he used Ghanaian proverbs and adages to talk about what these pieces of sculpture and art purport and they speak about. And what is interesting is that a lot of us Ghanaians, we know the adages, particularly those of us brought up in the cities, and we make them always wrong. We always quote them wrong. You hear many Ghanaians say it. What I have been told is when you are traveling along the way, that is where they sell things, and they are beautiful, and you buy it with money. It is not Kwachi. Who is this Kwachi guy? Wisdom, my sons and my daughters, you don't learn necessarily in class. You learn at the feet of wise people who have acquired a certain level of experience. I hear there was a case of a boy who came home, tried to be wiser to his parents, and they asked him, what did you study? He said, geography. He said, is that so? Na kabichire or see geo 50 cedis, gra 50 cedis, fee 50 cedis, geography book 50 cedis. Until mama would make 200 cedis. And then of course he went and he failed his geography and they came home. And the mama said, and you said, wabo humodia betina fie. Geo ubekwa kodo funo. Gra ubekwa kututu form. Fi ubekwa ako emwano de nyoma atuomo ena geography book no oh it is say ehono obe pra emwa buo mu no nyina ansa na wanya aduane adi. He thought he was wiser. Please, when we talk about wisdom, it's difficult to really give it its proper understanding. But obanyansani ibunube yenkana, I'll leave it to you. Wisdom, however, makes a person versatile and also makes a person to live in openness to knowledge and life at all times and to the experiences of others. A wise person will never say, I know it all. I don't. Socrates would say, the more I know, the more I know I don't know. Just to tell you, there is so much to know. My sons and my daughters, you who are here in the university, don't close yourselves to your subject matter and disciplines only. I'll be coming to that. That is why you are in the university, a place where it is the universe that is opening up to you. Yes. Number 3, he grew in stature. In stature, when you talk about stature, people think about wapos. They think about biceps and the rest of it. When you see my Ghana man on the beach, you know, we the guys, that's how we speak. I remember there was an interesting case. I was not in Ghana at the time, but it was handed on to me. During the revolution times, there was this young boy at, what do you call it? In Accra, there's a place called Pongpa. Pongpa is where they used to shoot the people dead at La, just on the beach there, in front of the barracks. So I hear this little boy was selling the mother's fish and playing, what do you call it, with vuvu nano in the sand. And so he was very engrossed in it. He was praying when some boots came to stand in front of him. And the guy asked, Mahelo eko, ekelele, in a city, in a city enumo, in a city nyoma. Then he went on. And the guy said, come on. Is it not you? I said, I like to buy fish. The guy raised his eyes from the boots, traveled up. Ayelenye o fine no ba hon loe o ha oula. Money cha tu ye pumpa no e babiene. Typical Ghana boy, he disappeared. What was he saying? He said he called his mother Ayelenye. Ghana, we have an interesting way of calling. He called his mother Ayelenye. He said, "Come and sell your fish to the guy who is standing here, because he has been shooting people at the bomba." He disappeared. When we say that people have stature, it is not just a matter of waps and the rest. The Latins will say mens sana in corpore sano. Yes, there is a healthy mind that lives in a healthy body. So I will beg you, my dear students, I will beg you, take care of that biological machine you have. I don't have to expatiate, but rather to exhort you to add to your academic pursuits extracurricular activity. You may wonder, has that got to do with spirituality? Yes. Permit me to get to it. I wish you could learn some extracurricular activities like sports, like field and track events. You could learn hobbies like playing musical instruments. You could join choirs to sing. God has given you a mellifluous voice. You could learn dancing of different traditional dances. I love dancing. Dambatakai. You could also learn additional languages. I will beg you, when we used to go to secondary schools, some of us learned Ga in Fantiland or in Kumasi and the rest. Some of us also learned Fanti in our secondary schools. Some of us learned Eve wherever we were and the rest of it. I beg you, wherever you find yourself, learn something from there, and particularly the language. Tomorrow, when you are grown and you have children, I will beg you, let your sons and daughters learn our Ghanaian languages irrespective of where they are. I feel very sad when you hear somebody say, "Aba kasanso na reke." Ayi wan kakasa dem wo fi aham. Come on, awie na ka wie mo ye bi ene. Hwe, wo ko ware afri himfa. Ye mpene me enko. Huo mdiema. Na do ekoni wanka. Benwoken. I beg you. It is a gift to learn other people's languages and understand their culture. It only expands your university education because you become a global personality, not logged in with your specialization. Do you know the definition of a specialization? The definition of a specialization is one who learns more and more of less and less until he knows everything about nothing. Am I right? He becomes a general practitioner, doctor. Then at a point in time, he goes to specialize in the ear. Then after some time, he goes to specialize in the doldrums of the ear. Then another time, he goes to specialize only in sound. So he's going less and less, knowing more and more, until he knows everything about nothing. No, my sons and my daughters, please, I'm not saying that is the definition of what you call it, especially. But I'm saying that be open-minded and take care of the biological machine you have. Do some yoga if you can. Do some transcendental meditation. Even gardening. Come to my house in Cape Coast, and I'll take you to my house. Inside my quadrangle, I am growing lettuce over there, and I'm enjoying them. I'm growing cucumbers, and I'm enjoying them. Because I know where they are coming from. I know the water that is used on them. When you buy lettuce outside, only God knows what you are exposing yourself to. I want to come back and say that all that is part and parcel of spirituality, knowing what God has given us. So please take care of your biological machine and take good care of it. Number 4, we are told Jesus grew in favor with God. Jesus grew in favor with God because it is the simplest and yet the most difficult thing to do. In very simple terms, it means the boy Jesus grew in the presence of God his Father. He grew cultivating good relationship with God. He grew as one who knows God, who loves God, who serves God, who looks forward to a happy life hereafter with God. You may call him anything or you may call her anything. But it means looking for the holy other. That which is beyond you. We call it the numinous. Because whether you like it or not, deep down in ourselves, we all believe there is something beyond ourselves. When a person is very intelligent, that's all obey ye. Instead of looking at it as a gift from, a holy other, we think, some of us, thank God we were ordinary. Jesus grew up in the presence of God. Because my sons and my daughters, this one, let me be Osofo. God is always looking for you. He's there for you. God is always there. It is you who do not call. God is always there. And therefore, if I may encourage you, make it a point to say a prayer quite often. If you want, every morning when you wake up, sit on your bed and just say a word of thank you to God that you are up. In the evening before you go to bed, just say a prayer to say thank you to God before you go to sleep. If you have to go to do something, ask God for help. If even you don't hear something coming, I bet you it gives you a certain oomph for you to be able to do well. I remember a good friend of mine. God is so simple, you don't need to create a certain, requirements and the rest, conditionalities before God answers. All you need is to acknowledge God is there, and when you ask, God will be with you. There was this guy who was falling off a cliff. And when he started diving down the cliff, he didn't know what to do. So he was asking, "Dear God, save me! Dear God, save me!" Then a hand grabbed him. And the hand asked, "Who are you asking for?" He said, "I said, just save me." He said, "No, what is my name?" He said, "I don't know your name, but please save me." He said, "Then I leave you." And he went down. You must know God, and you must know the name of God. All he wants is to say, "I know you, and I want to relate with you." If you begin that way, you'll be surprised with time, you become an expert. You don't need to become a reverend, so and so, and the rest of it. My dear Prof, when you came to stand here and you were worried about the titles, you know what it reminded me of? Professor Kwesi Dixon of blessed memory. We used to play tennis together. Whenever we were on the tennis court, he would punish you. And whenever I punished him back, he said, "Oh, Charles, namujunda a Christo new." Mercy. Kwesi yedu ha monoma Christo mayan fantunchen. Kwesi Dixon made me laugh because, some time ago, the Methodists were not using the titles, the Catholics were using, So they started using the titles, Reverend, Right Reverend, and then, so on. And so one day, Kwesi Dixon says he came home and he told his son, "Sisiaran was the dinner come on from most reverend." It's not a wumbu mats, one from most reverend. And the son, who was a typical, guy, he said, "When are they going to call you utmost reverend?" Only put many more people together to understand God. That is the reason why I collect people. That is why my hobby is collecting people. Because each one of them has something to give to me of himself or herself. And so I want you to know that at the beginning, I said my hobbies are collecting people. Because each one of you, God has made you fearful and wonderful. Each one of you is unique. Each one of you cannot be repeated. Each one of you is awesome. So let me bring my tirade to a conclusion. Concluding, so that you can ask me some questions. Because a library, you cannot go through the library and go through all the books. This library, I'm so complex to myself that sometimes I don't even know whether I'm okay or something. So please, don't, Somebody asked me, what would you like to ride behind your vehicle? I said, don't follow me because I myself, I am lost. Don't follow me because I myself, I am lost. So let me bring my thing to a conclusion. These 5 components are indispensable for the holistic education and formation of the person. Obedience, that leads to self-discipline, self-esteem, self-sacrifice, if need be. 2, to grow in wisdom, larger than just knowledge. 3, to grow in stature, not just your tiaps and your, muscles and the rest, but also to grow into a healthy human person, taking good care of yourself and everything God has given you. 4, to grow in your relationship with God. And I beg you, I am not saying grow in relationship with my God. It is your God. I think the young lady said it over here. You have to grow in relationship with your God. And I will be concluding on that. And the last one is to grow in add unto your knowledge. If the person does not add unto your knowledge, I was talking to Prof and he was talking about that. He said, go to the market. Just stop and look at the people. Baggage. Baggages both frontal and behind. And then the meaningful who come around the place looking as scruffy as possible. When I go to the university, I love to see the professors looking as maverick as possible. One attire na wash a kukudastic dress be a wash. Now saying away Jay, Professor Nana Kobnanketia, he knows the origin of that your academic gowns you wear. Now saying na laundry aba. Nan kantitin nanimu ye papa. Do you know why? Because in those days, the professors did not have time to take care of their, So they slept in the library. They were always poring over books and the rest of it. They were reading, they were studying. And if you wanted to give them money because they did something for you, you put it into their cow, the back, you put it into their cow. And sometimes when they went home, they forgot what was there. They hung it. And they could be and the rest of it. But that was how their gowns came about. Because in those days, it was very cold. We, the bishops, we used to wear something similar. We have stopped. Because no more show, Papa. These days, the professors don't have to wear it to the university. But in those days, Nara Oba now chow na Oba. But those were the beautiful things. I now want to come back and say, please, when you look at people, look at them, look at the way they walk, look at the way they smile, look at the way they, and even try to make eye contact. When I was in Europe in 1971 to 1976 and later on 79 to 84, you could smile at people and they would smile back. Now the world has become such a dangerous place. When you smile at somebody, they look at you like, oh yeah. Jedu blambolo asabade. Samara minsa souma. Muntuno there. Now I conclude with a nursery rhyme, which I love very much. And apparently it was written by St. Jerome somewhere in the 2nd century. It's a nursery rhyme you know very well, and I have taken it as something that keeps me going in my quest for spiritual excellence, in my quest for academic excellence, in my quest for, relationship, whatever it is. And it is a nursery rhyme you all know very well because you learned it in the nursery. Best. May I never rest until my good is better. God who created you good. I is to become best. But not just to become better of somebody or best of somebody. You are to become better of yourself. It says, may I never rest until my good is better. So I beg you, when you come to the university or anywhere, always learn that you are good. Appreciate yourself, enjoy yourself, but you are there to become a better version of yourself. That is why God created you. And you will only be ultimate when you are the best version of yourself. My sons and my daughters, your Archbishop has nothing to tell you about this human library, but just to tell you, you are awesome, you are great, I love you, and I wish I could photograph all the mosaics that are here. You only help me to get to know God best. Clap for this young man. And do you know why I say they should clap for you? My brother was in this institution. He is hard of hearing. And he needed somebody like him to help him do it. He was called Papi Adote. He finished last year. I want to say thank you very much. My MC, Mpochoba, Duazai.
Keep clapping, keep clapping. That was truly awesome. Beautiful. Kindly resume your seats. Pojoba, another end though. How many Pojobas are here apart from Chairman Sasa? Let's give Pojobas a round of applause. It's a very big, and then you do, because there are two mavericks, Nana Kobnan Ketia the fifth, and Papa Buckle. I'll reserve the rest for the last. Nana Pachomen to Bombansa. So before we continue, there's a saxophonist who was supposed to have cleared the way, should have served as a John the Baptist ahead of the presentation. But Sankofa Duwonchi. So we will still make way for him to play us a very soothing sound, and then we'll take it up from there. Ladies and gentlemen, shall we welcome our friend, the saxophonist. Let's do it better. Thank you very much. So we are going to take your questions. And before we do that, I'd like to say that Jean-Marie Adote, your son, was very well taken care of by the university. In fact, oh, you can clap. He was a star special student. Star, I don't want to use the word deaf. The university's platform was given him, the basketball platform. That's his coach. And he really gave himself up as a sacrifice. And the university duly recognized that when it awarded him the best basketball player 3 years ago. Yeah. That was the university's maiden annual sports awards. And he was the first to be recognized as our best basketball player. And last month, was it no, this month. Last month, we had a program here. The SRC celebrated its week. And so we had an orientation for students here. And we invited Vodafone, now Telecel. And to our biggest surprise, Jean-Marie featured in their video as one of their staff. He now works with Vodafone. Yes. So Vodafone actually commended the Takoradi Technical University greatly for the job we are doing. In fact, we are the only university in Ghana that gives form for such special students. And I think you should be proud of that. So Jean-Marie remains in the annals of the history of this university as one of our best in terms of sports. Now you can ask your questions. We'll take 3 at a time. Our speaker would answer, and then we would take the next. So we'll take our first 3 questions. Okay. General, Mr. Danso. Okay. So Auntie Kate first, and then.
Please, my name is Kate Nikwe. I'm a senior lecturer at the tourism department, doubling as the hall warden of the only female hall on campus, Duncan Hall. I am very happy to have heard this special speaker a second time physically. The first time was when I was a girl back at Infantaman. He was invited by Mrs. Crawford to come and talk to us. And like girls, we all were excited hearing his sweet voice and all that, the comments. And since then, I must say, anytime I see him on TV, I am overwhelmed because
Papa, this is confession time. Confession time.
A personality like that, with that awesome knowledge and wisdom, should always be alive. But my question that ties into his presentation is on a scenario where I was a student and I got a place in the very hall I am awarding at that time because a student probably took more time to do God's work than academics. So she was expelled and I had her space in that hall. But after I had the space, the things went through my mind and said, oh, it means that this school, if you come and you don't do well, you could go empty-handed. So I asked if by that, if he had opportunity to come back, could he fit or could she fit? I left it to God. But I'm asking Papa that in a scenario like this, we could have more of them around. they do more Christian activities, other curricular activities that, weighs down the academics. Any advice for them, and probably a fine strategy to help them with besides the spiritual advice? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please give the microphone to Mr. Danso.
Thank you very much. Archbishop, there is something that bothers me, and I want you to throw more light on. That is there a difference between spirituality and religiosity?
Spirituality and
religiosity. If you can throw more light on that for us. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. President, are you taking the third bite? SRC President, Selwyn Ebenezer Mensah. We'll do the next.
All right, thank you. My name is Selwyn Ebenezer Mensah. In fact, I'm a former seminarian. Your Grace Archbishop.
Say it loudly.
I was formerly in the minor seminary. Your Grace, you stress on the importance of learning from our environment, our surrounding, wherever we find ourselves. However, today's modernity has made it such that we tend to learn the most unfortunate things from the unexpected places. Please, which guidance would you offer to today's students who seek to absorb from the experiences that they encounter in their academic journey?
Please let me admit that I don't have all the answers. The question, and know that the answer, you already possess the answer. You only have to experiment it, use it, and see whether it works. And change it if it doesn't work into something else. The first question, I think, demands counseling. Counseling. See, it's a pity in many families we have lost the ability to counsel the young ones. You see, with the coming in of formal education, they created a disconnect in the way we used to educate our ordinary people. Until formal education came in, it was normal and natural in a bigger family setting for the men to be interested in educating the boys who had attained the age of 12 and onwards, and for the girls to be educated by the women. But we were in the same compound, and there was a lot of interrelationship. So we did have our form of education. You may not call it formal education. It was informal, but it was there. And our education took on various aspects. It got to a point where you needed proper schooling before initiation into something. Either to be initiated to become a farmer, to be initiated to become a hunter, to be initiated to become, and even womanhood had a form of education. I'm saying this because that was my field of theological work, comparative religions. I compared Ga rites of passage and the Christian rites of initiation. And I realized there's a lot of commonalities in it. Unfortunately, one has been eclipsed by another. And so the tendency is we tend to think of education more as a formal something, and we forget that education, what does it mean in Latin? Educare, it means to lead out of, to help somebody to blossom into what he or she possesses. And so, madam, if you would tell, I would leave it with you. I would say that what we need to do, many of us would need to do, would be to go back to appreciating our families, our cultures, and the rest. To stop looking down on our own things. To emphasize those of you who have the gift of helping us to see what we have, so that our people can go back to Sankofa, what we have, and we can use it. But in the meantime, when we are here in the university and you are counseling students, you also need to go beyond the official. There are times when some of the students need just a shoulder to weep on. They need just a shoulder to talk on, and the rest of it. And that is what counselors are expected to do. Unfortunately, they are now pushing it towards becoming so specialized that in the long run, we don't even see the student in front of me as a human being, as somebody who is interesting, as somebody who can actually help me even know more about what I'm learning. We only see the person as a guinea pig that must be, dissected and must be held. I think you, the university professors, in this environment, if you can, you should begin to get a little bit less officious and a little bit more personal, personare. So I would say counseling is important. And counseling is important for everybody. When a man loses his wife, he needs counseling. When a woman loses her husband, she needs counseling. When they lose a child, they need counseling. And the rest of it. Even in the university, when you have lost the opportunity of being given a particular position which you think you deserved, you need some amount of counseling to realize that that is not the end of the world. It is only another hurdle and you can do better. When people become so agonistic, then they lose the joy of living, the joy of life, and a good smile. So, dearie, I don't really have the answer. All I have is each one is unique. Approach the person and see what you can do. And I remember the young lady, I was laughing because when I decided to become a priest, everybody swore this one, he wouldn't make it. Why? Because I love dancing. I love singing. And when I said I love dancing, I dance from Panlogo all the way to the latest type of dance and Azonto and everything. I dance them. Even now, I do. The only thing is that as soon as I start, people want to take a picture and put it on their platform. And a little dancing and fun that I would like to have, they want to publish it and the rest. If only you wouldn't publish it, I could have danced over here for you to see. Oh lo lo lo, oh lo lo lo, bukao, buka. No, when I see children dancing, when I see young people dancing, I like to stand back and watch them. It is an art. It is an art, and we should encourage them to be able to do the dancing. It is not only sculpturing. The human being is a sculptured work, and they should be encouraged to dance. And not only the latest dancing and the rest. When I see people doing the traditional dancing, the Dambatakai and the rest of it, you just look and you say, wow, how can a human being let the body do such expressions and the rest? So I just want to come back and say, it's part of, I hope you have a department of art and culture here. Think about it. It is necessary because it is a very healthy way of a spirituality. So let me come immediately to spirituality and religiosity. My son, spirituality, I just want to say that every human being has a spiritual essence. The head, the heart, and the hands. What is measurable about the brain? How do you measure it? What is measurable about the heart? How do you measure? With all due respect, you see a young girl and you all immediately go to. The song says what? Jama way near friend or don't know ana. Jamano. It is true. Look, even at 75 as Catholic Archbishop, you think when I see a pretty lady, I am not No. Please, don't get scandalized. Don't get scandalized. And you, the girls, Mama won't see you yet. But the African woman is a beautiful woman. It's true. Nana will bear me out. We were talking about it somewhere. You are beautiful. God has made you beautiful. And we should actually commend you for it. But it doesn't mean that when we say you are beautiful, it means we are chasing you. God forbid. When I see sculptured pieces, art, photographs, and the rest, you just have to say, this is a piece of art. And it must be appreciated. I hope you understand that. So also music, so also everything that you do. I want to come back. That is where spirituality is at work. Religiosity in Latin, religo, religare, means something that ties you up. You tie yourself up to it. This is a religious business. It must be done this way. That is what is negative about a religion, because it becomes ideological. It doesn't breathe. It doesn't allow you even to make mistakes. No, our God allows you even to make a mistake. When a religion becomes really a religion, it means it lacks that ability to let people breathe, to let people be themselves. All of us are spiritual. Some of us are overly religious because we think it must be this way, it must be that way, it must be that way, it must be. I don't know whether some of you went to Mass this morning, but today's Mass, God was talking to Moses in the book of Exodus, and he gave instructions about the Passover. If you have time, go and read it. I think it's Exodus chapter 10 or so. The instructions are very, very meticulous. How to eat it, how to roast it, how to do this, how to do that. A lamb years old, and it was a religious requirement. And the gospel, they are passing through the cornfield and they were eating the corn. And the Pharisees were criticizing them. And Jesus came and said, look, the man was not created for the law. The law was created for man. And therefore, stop making it tawi. I don't therefore say indiscipline is correct. No. However, I say we shouldn't reach a point where a spirituality becomes ideological, as if people cannot breathe and there. So if you don't belong to us, you are punished. If you don't belong there, you go to hell. That type of thing is not of God. God cannot have done that. Because here I am. When I was studying traditional religions, my great-grandfathers got to know Christianity only in the 1800s. Do you want to tell me all my great-great-grandfathers from the time of Abraham onwards are gone to hell? I beg your pardon. I won't worship that type of a God. God is a spirit. And he who worships God worships him in spirit and in truth. But God is actually not somebody who demands religious worship. Stiff. He demands relationship. It's not easy to understand. Then my ex-seminarian, what is interesting is he was saying you should repeat it. Don't worry about that. You know, a seminary, the Seminis, is a nursery where we nurse vocations. And when they find what they are called for, they fly out. So he found what he was, nursed for, and he flew out. And that is it. And I'm sure some young lady must be very happy to have him. Well, I don't think I have much to say about that. What was your question you said? Just give me a hint. I wrote something, but I didn't finish. Say it.
Okay. So, please, you mentioned that we should be able to learn from wherever we find ourselves. But in today's world, it's quite unfortunate that the youth tend to learn the most unfortunate things from the unexpected places.
Were you there in yesterday's world?
No, please.
Were you there when your father and the rest were there? The world has not changed. It has always been the same. And therefore, don't let us start complaining. Rather, make hay while the sun shines. Period. I beg you, let me help him and let me help you. Don't think there could have been a better time. There is no better time. The time you are living in is the best time for you to be here. Period. Now it is up to you to appreciate what you have by way of values and the rest and to share them. I hope you understand that. No. You couldn't have lived in my time. When I was young, they were complaining the same. My aunties and the rest, they said the young people were rowdy and everything. When I went to do philosophy, I realized that at the time of Socrates in Egypt, they were complaining about the youth riding around the place on their horses wildly and the rest. And I said, pueri, ubikumque pueri. Boys have never changed, human beings have never changed, and they will never change. What is important? The time is now. Use the best you can. Thank you very much. Oh. Come on, come here. Dabi, what's your I like to look at them. I am learning from you. It is not the answers I want to give you. I'm learning from you. I'm looking at you. So 3 more questions and then we close. Fa apeteshina osim table na subramai. Bring me that one. I'll tell you why. Oh, why? Why are you moving it? Oh? Oh, no, seated. No. I'm not going to answer seated. I'll stand. Don't worry. Oh, I'll stand when I'm answering. I don't sit when I'm answering. It is disrespectful.
Pojoba, that's a bread. So, a little historical account and then a little contribution. So, I remember in 1992, I was in 6th form. I was in lower 6. When Archbishop Pamabake was brought into Koforidua as the bishop of the Koforidua diocese. As a young boy of 21 years, as we line up the street of Efijasi, I remember a lady that I know so much came to me and said, and my nickname has been with me since. So he said, Sasa, na bishop na hon fefe say obey to me a bishop. And so I responded, my own share. But I think after 33 years, Archbishop Amabako has proven.
He has lived to expectation.
Yes.
Oh, you can clap. You can clap.
And so, my contribution, I'll first talk about the uniqueness issue that you talk about. And I want to use myself in projecting that. So as I said, in 1992, when you became the Bishop of Koforidua, I was 21 years, you were 42 years. So 21 plus 21, we got to your age. Today at 75, as a lecturer, if you deduct 21 from your 75, you will get my age. That is the uniqueness that I have. But Pojoba people are so philosophical. And so I want to talk about the wisdom aspect in your speech. In our traditional setup, or even in academia, when you talk of wisdom, people more or less make a mistake that wisdom is the same as knowledge. Knowledge is what we acquire when we go to school. And so Rebecca said, he's got knowledge. But I believe the wisdom that you talk about is the wisdom that King Solomon asked God to give. So it is important we differentiate between what is wisdom and then what is knowledge. And then I want to also look at love. In fact, love, as you said, is the language of God. Yes, the 90-year-old Cardinal, Raniero Cantalamessa, who is still at the Vatican City. And I was listening to preaching by my senior Pojoba, Father Amagashi, and he told this story. That Raniero Cantalamessa said, anytime somebody wrongs him and he wants to forgive, he will just picture Jesus Christ on the cross. And then whatever the person has done, he tries to share that love and forgive. And I think the love that you talk about is the love that Jesus showed us when he sacrificed. Spirituality into physical. And I want to take us to the classroom, what I normally tell my students. God is a spirit. But when God created, it is interesting to know that God created Adam on Friday. Today is Friday. God put Adam in paradise on Friday. He was expelled on Friday. So Friday is a day that we must reckon. And so when Adam sinned against God in the Garden of Eden, God is spiritual. He came in the form of spirit. And he asked Adam, Adam, where are you? God knew what Adam has done. But he gave him opportunity. So he said, Adam, where are you? And Adam said, I am naked. And then God asked, have you eaten of the forbidden fruit? And he said, it's a woman that you gave me. What is happening here is that the spiritual God was trying to manifest himself physically. And in law, we call something natural justice, odi uterem partem. Here the other side. God was trying to give Adam the opportunity to listen to him while he committed sin. To end, Pojoba, I want to, one of the hymns, it's hymn 252. It says, to God be the glory, great things he has done. We thank God for such a wonderful day. Thank you.
Okay. Mary.
Thank you. Most Reverend, please, I have 3 questions. Am I permitted to ask all the 3 questions? Okay.
Ask one.
Okay, so my first question is, with all the abundance of knowledge from you, I would like to tap your intelligence on this philosophy by Plato that says that it's stipulated that no child is born a tabula rasa. Are you of the view that no child is born a tabula rasa, or do you belong to the school of thought that believes that every child is born a tabula rasa? My second question, when you were given a brief biography about yourself, you mentioned that you have 3 hobbies, and the third one was you are a collector of friends. I want to understand that. And my third question is, you asked that we raise our hands. You asked how many fingers do we have. We all said 5. I want to know if it's 5 fingers we have spiritually, or do we have 10 fingers? Thank you.
Okay. Last question. From a student. He wants a last question from a student. You're a student. Oh, yes. That's fine. That's fine.
Good afternoon. Please, in your speech, you spoke about us being obedient, submitting to obedience because it leads to self-discipline. And then my dad will always say obedience, humbleness, and discipline is what has brought him this far. And so we should inculcate that in our lives. So my question is, are our parents or the elders always right? Can they be wrong at times? And please, also you spoke about us being open-minded and learning from different people. But most of the elders or our parents have issues with people with different tribes because of their past life experiences, and so they tend to be overprotective of their kids from such people, and by so doing, restricting us from exploring. So with this, I know very well that we have our dear parents here, we have similar issues, and then children facing the same issue. Please, what would be your advice for us? And lastly, I want to be your friend. Thank you.
Okay.
Let me begin from the last one to say that I want to be your friend also. The song says, now that we found love, what are we going to do with it? Okay. I want to come back immediately to her and say that it is a pity these days when you tell somebody I want to be your friend, they think of something negative. It's sad. But you see, the word to be a friend and the word freedom, I believe, belong together. When you tell somebody, look, I want to be your friend, it doesn't mean I want to, what do you call it, bait you or lock you up or something of the sort. Because when somebody tells you I want to be your friend and you hear it, it expands your horizon. You feel good. Am I right? Oh, when somebody passes you by and says, Charlie, wo hear me fe. It's nice. It doesn't mean, therefore, you should run away because the person is going to come and eat you up, or it means no. Beautiful things must be admired and must be appreciated. I hope you understand that. So I would say that it is something to how I wish we could have the courage of saying, there's a young lady whose name I still remember. Somewhere in 1969, at the Holy Spirit Cathedral at Abraka, we had Mass. And I fancied her. We had Mass, we finished Mass, and I walked up with a good friend of mine. I said, oh, Charlie, you're looking good. I'd like to be your friend. Right? And I went with her together with my friend to their home. And I told the parent I liked them. They found it abominable. How can you come and tell us that? Look, The Latins say quid recipitu ad modum recipientis recipitu. What does it mean? If you are dirty-minded and somebody says something very innocent, I like you, and you think dirty, now your own palaver now. How I wish people could be helped to appreciate something that is beautiful. So, my daughter, I go immediately to say that our parents have no fault. They give us what they know. Listen very carefully. Your parents give you what they know. And they give you what they know out of love. Sometimes they may be overly protective. It is true. But that is what your parents give you. Because they have to give you what they know from their point of view of knowledge before you can operate outside. So I will beg you, my sons and my daughters, wherever you are, first and foremost, appreciate what your parents, illiterate as they may be, have educated you to know. Don't contest it. Don't challenge it. As you grow, you begin to realize not all our parents were tops in class. Not all our parents were tops in class, but I beg your pardon. When you are a little kid and you think your father is the strongest, your father is the best, your mother is the best cook and the rest, until you meet a girl who cooks better and you look at your mother's cooking and mommy says, I only want to say, start from where you know. Appreciate it, show gratitude, and gradually explore newer avenues. But please don't disrespect your parents. Scripture says, honor your father and your mother, because it is through them you have got the gift of life. The gift of life is from God, and he passed through your parent. Whether your father was a drunkard, or your mother was a prostitute, or your father was a thief, or your mother was a quarrelsome, those were the ones through whom God gave you the gift of life. Please appreciate them, thank them, and I beg you, in future, take care of them. I beg you, in future, take care of them. It's not money they may need. It's just a visit, a word of thank you, a word to come and say, Mama, I feel. Please do. As I said, I come from a family of 12. Once a month, we are on Zoom with one another. Some are in the US, some are in Canada, and the rest of it. And we just talk about things. We love one another. We are happy with one another. We make mistakes. We offend one another. We ask for, I am sorry. I didn't intend it. I didn't mean it. So also your parents are a gift. Please enjoy them. Love them. Let me climb up. No child is born a tabula rasa. It depends on what the person says. Yes, no child is born a tabula rasa because God says, I know what plans I have for you. So in the spiritual realm, God has a plan for each and every person. And God has even codified it in the person. I hope you understand that. But God does not make you an automaton. No. He gives you free will to be able to say, I will do this, I will do that. At the age of 8, I told my parents I wanted to be a priest. You asked me what fell on my head. I don't know. But I remember where we were standing in Kumasi at St. Peter's Cathedral. It was October. Pope Pius XII had just died. And they sang the Per omnia secula seculorum. Amen. I don't know why. It touched my heart. So when we came out, I was 8 years old. I told my father I wanted to be a priest. And my father said, well, we shall see. So when we came to Accra at the age of 9, he made me become a mass server at the Holy Spirit Cathedral. And there was one brother who liked me very much because he said I was as thin as a cassava stick. So he took care of me. He took me home and the rest of it. And he helped me. Then we sat common entrance. In those days, we sat common entrance. My friends chose St. Augustine's. I also did, as St. Thomas Aquinas, and then Opokuwari, and so on and so forth. We chose, and I chose. I wasn't very brilliant, but I wasn't that bad. You understand? And then I went to sit private common entrance to go to Pope John's. At that time, it was called St. John's. Private common entrance, not even. So I went to sit, and that one was the one that came first. I was very happy. So I went. I didn't get St. Augustine's. I didn't get, Opokuwari. I didn't get. But I got St. Augustine, Pope John's. And I got, Ashanti Collegiate. But I wanted to be a priest. So I went to the seminary. And that is how I began slowly and everything. What I want to say is that when I stand shoulder to shoulder with my friends who went places and the rest, that was where God wanted me to go to. And when we were going through the seminary, I will make you laugh. A lot of young people saw me and they said, after this one, he won't be a priest. I said, why? They said, oh, Charlie, don't worry. Open my crowd. And I said, Mimpemba, Minkopede. Dia. What say? Me yare mi trim. Nyame bo be ma so mepe oba na me boa. Wa mo be ma so mepe be ma. Nyame mpangu. So I went through Pope John's. I came to Emisano here, and I was not too far from here. And the famous flames at that time, the secondary school, St. Augustine School Band, they had famous flames. It was the time of, James Brown. Say it louder, I'm black and proud. Say it louder, I'm black and proud. Oh, we used to dance at all the rest. I dance as much as they dance. They look at me, they say, oh, Charlie, I for you, party. Software party, you know, go feed chop 'em. I went ahead and I became a priest. And today, they still say it. I am still going on. I'm waiting for God to tell me, but I want to say this. I knew what I wanted to do, and I kept my focus. But I had alternatives also, in case it didn't go well. When they asked me, if you don't become a priest, what will you become? I said, well, I could become a diplomat, or I could become an actor, or I could become, an actor, a diplomat, or, that. So I went through. I learned. Ready to become a lawyer, yes. My father sent me to go and see my uncle, who was a lawyer Vidal James Buckle, to see what does it take to become a lawyer. Law, you need literature, history, you need, English, I had it. Then he sent me to go and see my cousin, who was a diplomat, to become a diplomat. French, Italian, Latin and the rest. I had it. Then they sent me to go and see Father Wells, the parish priest. So I went to see Father Wells. And Father Wells said, Sonny, no problem. You go for sixth form. When you finish, come back, we will talk. I have still to finish sixth form, and I'm going on. You understand? The old man knew what to do. He sent me back. He prayed for me. And today I am a priest. So I haven't given up, and I won't give up. I want to say that every child, you have a plan from God. That is why Jesus could tell his father and mother, why were you looking for me? Because I must be about my Father's business. Let me keep it to you straight, my sons and my daughters. Each one of you, you have a calling. The word is a calling, vocation. I'm not talking about profession. I'm not talking about career. I'm not talking about a job. You have a calling. And it is the duty of your educators, your formators, to find out that you have an intelligence. But many people can become doctors because they feel it's a calling. Professor Mustafa, of blessed memory, the man had a calling. It was not money he was looking for. It was happiness to make sure that people were well educated. What was the name of the one in Tamale? There was one in Tamale with he was giving free medical attention, a doctor. Very, very popular. He loved medicine. You understand? And I know soldiers also who have a calling for the army. Some who have a calling for economics. Some who have a calling for, what you call it, being professors in the university. So my sons and my daughters, look for your calling. Don't look for your profession. Don't look for the career. Look for your calling. Why calling? Then you are answerable to God. You are answerable to a higher authority for all the gifts of wisdom that you have been endowed with. So that is what. So my dear, as far as I'm concerned, everybody has a plan. And why do I collection people? I think for that I've said it. Fingers. Is it only? No, my fingers are only indicative. You understand? I use it to teach. I only use it to teach. 5. God gave us 5. The spider has how many? I think 8. And then the ant has how many? 6, and the rest of it. I don't know why God gave us 5. When you meet God, ask him. Sometimes it's not everything I can answer. I think I have done justice to all that has to be done. Thank you very much.
One very last one. Very last one. Is your take on the controversial topic on polygamous marriages. Okay. Oh.
To be honest with you, we, the bishops of Africa, are having a very serious discussion next month about the social, cultural, political, economic, views and values of polygamy. We are having a discussion on it. It's something that, when you look at the women, why should you have 2 women in your life? Why should you have 4? Are you so insatiable that you need, 2 women or 5 women to be okay? It's not fair. But also somebody will say, not all the women can get husbands. And so by polygamy we take care of it. Is that the reason why? Pragmatic reasons why. When you go into our traditional wisdom, they have reasons why they used to allow polygamy. And yet look at the trouble that has caused. Abraham. All the trouble we have today in Palestine and Israel is because of 2 sons of Abraham, Ishmael and Isaac. Am I right? And even what was terrible, hey, you don't go and say it anywhere, we'll get into trouble. What was terrible was, it was the woman who came and said, Sarah said, okay, you take my maid, and then, and the poor man obeyed the woman. As Adam obeyed the woman, and we are in trouble. We are always trying. Let me make you laugh. There was a cartoon of 2 monkeys sitting on a big log of wood. And behind the cartoon was a huge mushroom of an atom bomb. The world had been devastated. And the female monkey says to the male monkey, see what I have found. Said what? Said an apple. And the male monkey said, we are not going to start it all over again. So if you ask me, those who already have been engrossed in polygamy, I have nothing to say. I only ask them, I hope you manage it well. But I don't think I will be happy to have my sister as a second wife or a third wife. No, I don't think so. I don't think it is very fair, Personally, I don't feel it is fair. You may give me any good reasons, but am I therefore going to make rules and regulations that it should be like this? What I don't like You see, in the case of Abraham, at least his wife said, take her. And then when he did and got into trouble, the wife said, send her away. And he sent her away. And God took care of the child, Ishmael, and God took care of Isaac and the rest. And we have been suffering for that trouble. You want us to start it all over again? I don't think we want to start. But please, take care of the one that you have. I will be honest with you, the women are worth more than just, taking care of them for. I beg you. Now I want to see how I've been crowded. About summer.
That was truly awesome.
Let me say something why I insisted on getting the same bottle of water. I beg you, anywhere you go to and they offer you water, please drink it. If you can, empty it before you leave. Just drink it yourself. If you cannot and you are going away, please take it. Drink the water and put it where it must be placed. My worry is that in the next 10, 15 years, we shall be having war over water. Water is getting very scarce. Very, very, very scarce. So don't waste water, I beg you. When they give you a bottle of water, please take it. If you cannot finish drinking it, hold it with you, get somewhere, finish drinking, and dump it in the right place. Because I have been told the World Environment Day on the 5th of June this year is that it takes 500 years for this thing to decompose. 500 years. And a whole lot of our fishes are dying because of plastic. And even we ourselves, I hear we are inhaling plastic, breeze. I will beg you, so please, the reason why I insisted on it, if it is not opened, they can use it. Once it is opened, nobody would like to drink it. However, if you have a funeral or you have an activity and people drink these waters and they leave them half, very easy. Take the water, pour it into a basin, put it on fire, and it is ready for use. Otherwise, we waste it. We throw it away. The World Environment Day should teach us how to appreciate water. That is why I insisted on getting my bottle of water.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Nananketia, most Reverend said he couldn't answer all the questions and that he was open to perspectives from other people. I also do not believe in polygamy, sincerely, but others do. So, since I've got many support, but I know if we live here, I'll suffer attacks because I didn't get perspective from other. So, Nana, I also want your candid opinion, your take on polygamy, because you are a traditional authority. No, a woman ko. You better want to come out here.
Your Grace, after listening to you talk, I think it's unfair for somebody as earthly as me to say a word. You are heavenly. If I say anything contrary, you open the doors to heaven for me. And so, please, let me decline this comment and I came to listen to Your Grace. Medase, aye.
Umosemano, and then you winning. And then 1 man, 1 gallon, you winning. Beautiful. So I'm in for watching that. I'm for next week. Okay, a few acknowledgements and then we can go. So we have the President of the Students' Representative Council, Selwyn Ebenezer Mensah. The Secretary is here, Emanuela Otu. The Treasurer, Bismarck Ejiri Okran. Today I'm seeing just the three of you. Oh, Public Relations Officer, Joshua Ado Tete. That is fine. Deans and directors in no particular order. So, Dr. Emmanuel Payne, Faculty of Engineering. Okay. Professor Abigail Gura, Dean, Faculty of Business Studies. Engineer Professor Ebenezer Boache, Director, Quality Assurance and Academic Planning. He's our incoming Pro Vice Chancellor. Yeah. Professor Ramos Asafuaje is the Dean of the Faculty of Media, Technology and Liberal Studies, known as FAMTELS. Sounds like ice cream. Yeah. Professor Richard Ni Pakpo Akwe is the Dean of the School of Graduate Studies. Yes. Papa Osofo, monitors actually Ni Pakpo Akwe. Aha. Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. Professor Andodo is the Director, Center for Gender, Disability and Advocacy. Professor Usu Ansankra is the Dean of the Faculty of Applied Arts and Technology. Mr. Joseph Amwako is Director for the Center for Business Development and Entrepreneurship. Mr. Joseph Mensah Oti Esirifi is Director, Public Affairs. Professor Reverend Francis Iya Mensah is HOD Mathematics and Statistics. Mathematics, Statistics and Natural Science. Professor Evans Donko, HOD Sculpture. Dr. Eudora Hagen is HOD Tourism Management. And then, Nana Nketia is chair of the Endowment Fund Board of the university. And it is the reason for which you always see Auntie Doris by his side, because Auntie Doris is the secretary to the committee. And so they are always working together. Anytime Nana is here, she has to be there. She has become Nana's walking stick. So Nana Kobnan Ketia, the fifth, is the Omanhen of the Sikado traditional area. Ohene Krache. Yeah. No, he is a retired university lecturer. You are aware. He says I shouldn't call him by his title. And the last time we spoke about this, he said, I will lie doctor there. Atibida. Oh dear. Nana Nketia is a great man. So seated next to Nana Nketia is Mrs. Doris Ekuya-Boateng. So she's secretary to the Endowment Fund Board, of which I'm a member. Then next is Dr. Kate Nikwe. She's the hall warden for Duncan Hall. And then we also have Dr. Mrs. Juliana Ifua Abrokwa, Executive Secretary to the Vice Chancellor. Then to management. Professor Victor Kweku Bonzi-Maika is the Pro Vice Chancellor of the Takoradi Technical University. Yes. Bishop Pamabako said, triple doctor. In Ghana, everything is possible. Yes, it is possible. To make 3 PhDs in 10 years. It is possible. Say it is possible. Beautiful. Dr. Moses McLean Abnori is our registrar. And then Papa Kwame Nafin is our acting librarian. In fact, let's give him a warm round of applause. You know, he has made the human library concept a household name in the university. Last year, he began with the Pro Vice Chancellor. It was an exciting experience. And today is even better. And I'm pretty sure the next time it will be the President of the Republic or perhaps Donald Trump to come and tell us why he's crazy. Give him another round of applause, please. Then the last but not least, certainly not least, is Dr. Gabriel Apostle Sam C.C. Ahimfo, Director of Finance. Yesterday, according to the Pro VC, he is the most mischievous amongst the members of management. The Director of Finance is the most mischievous amongst the management members. That's according to the Pro VC. According to Pro VC. All right. So, Mina Coca Davis, what do we have next? A presentation. All right. So, library staff, all library staff, join your boss to do a presentation.
Dearly beloved, the thing that really links me up with Nana also is our very deep-seated Pan-African nature. Africans do not tear a gift open in your presence. We don't. And yet it has now been accepted from Europe. They give you a present and they tear it and they all say, how nice and how beautiful. Hypocrites. When you know it's not nice, it's not beautiful. I like to be honest with you. I will take it home. I will open it. Technically, Nana will tell you, when you open a gift, then the following morning, you send an elder from the family to go and say thank you. Another thing is that once you are giving a gift, you always have to tell somebody what the azi was the chem. It shows relationship. It is not the quantification of what you have got. I beg you. Do you understand that? Number 3, something that is coming, and I like to encourage it. Sometimes it is good to ask a person, this is a different matter, but to ask a person, what is it that you need so that I can buy it for you? You just don't give somebody a gift because you think, if you don't have, it's a different matter. But sometimes it's good to ask the person, what is it that you need so that I can buy it for you? Then it becomes useful. I hope you understand that. The tendency is we are becoming very superficial. I don't believe in being superficial. I don't. I like to say, I thank you even for the fact that you invited me. I feel very honored to have been invited. When I go home and I look at it, I will let you know what I think. Because I have quite a few good images over there. Sometimes I look and I say, hey, Charlie, why you home? But at least I look at it myself and I laugh alone. I hope you understand. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. What do you mean? I mean, no one know one of my car. Oh, you on your door. Major.
Oh, clap if you want to clap. Thank you so much, Archbishop Palmer Buckle. May your testimony continue to bless and uplift many, and may your legacy of faith and resilience be forever cherished in our hearts and in everywhere we find ourselves. Thank you so very much. We shall now invite the Pro-Vice Chancellor to give his closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Professor MC. I must say we've heard a lot from Archbishop. We've heard from ourselves questions that have been answered and answered right. I don't think I can do it better than he did, than to urge you that with the 5 thematic things he mentioned as we should raise our hands to, we should keep it in mind, and also go by the poem he ended his speech with, Good, Better, Best, so that we'll make sure each and every time we do the best that we can, and also be obedience, one major thing that he said that I want us to go home with. On that note, thank you very much for sitting in, and may God bless all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Let's do better for him. We will humbly invite Miss Mary Benson to give us the vote of thanks.
Thank you. Most Reverend has mentioned that we all have our unique abilities. Yesterday, our Pro-Vice Chancellor mentioned that ingratitude is a cripple. So I think that juggling the two together, I would say that we all have our unique abilities. By this, we should give gratitude to God. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I deem it an honor to be called to deliver the vote of thanks for this August event. Our Honorable Most Reverend Charles Gabriel Palmer Buckle, a special thank you for gracing us with your presence and valuable, insightful knowledge. Stipulated in Hosea 4:6, God says, and I quote, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." At most, today, some beliefs misconstrued in the society has been highlighted on for better comprehension. We are deeply thankful for the time, effort, and dedication from the management of Takoradi Technical University, the University Library team, and the Public Relations Office to making this event a success. Many thanks to everyone gathered here for your relentless support and presence. We look forward to more of such engaging and successful events in the future. Thank you.
As it's commonly said, thank you for thanking us. Reverend Michael Obin will give us a closing prayer, after which we will have the university anthem.
Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift you have brought into our midst. We thank you for the gifts that have been encouraged as we heard the gift speak to us. We pray that we shall present the very best of ourselves in the years to come into this world. This we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Great Acamedic Technical University, our hallmark is quality and excellence. In vocational, technical, applied sciences and art, our unique training in human resources. Acamedic Technical University, our hallmark is quality and excellence. In vocational, technical, applied sciences and art, our unique training in human resources. Again, Acamedic and Samanbutu, we stand for excellence wherever we are. We are the best amongst them all. The sky is our limit. In God we trust. In God we trust. Again, Acamedic and Samanbutu, we stand for excellence wherever we are. We are the best amongst them all. The sky is our limit. In God we trust. In God we trust. Great Acamedic Technical University, the Lord for discipline and diligence. We are capable, competent in what we teach and learn to develop strong manpower for our nation. Great Acamedic Technical University, the Lord for discipline and diligence. We are capable, competent in what we teach and learn to develop strong manpower for our nation. Again, Acamedic and Samanbutu, we stand for excellence wherever we are. We are the best amongst them all. The sky is our limit. In God we trust. In God we trust. Again, Acamedic and Samanbutu, we stand for excellence wherever we are. We are the best amongst them all. The sky is our limit. In God we trust. In God we trust.
This is the tastiest anthem in the whole of Ghana. A round of applause for yourselves, please. We are going to take photographs. Photographs. Yeah, yes. So management with Archbishop and then Nanankit here.
Chunima. Top. El Germano. Eight time we drop on the Chunima. Besa chefa. One side. Shoulder. One side. Shoulder. One side. Shoulder. One side. Shoulder. It's a woman number. And I remember we email. Me petru mutanka. Me pe details. Me nye womanizer. Naso me pe females. Okay. Mutumbu banza. Send me videos. Alright, me too. Aisha too. Salama too. Obili me checking me Adami too. Rakia too. Memuna too. One side. Shoulder.
Library staff.
When you could fake your nata, high grade family. I say, no, I know you say I'm a fine small. Aberdeen Pool. Friday night to the one.